Okay, everybody, good evening. I want to welcome everybody to our Fall Community Town Hall. This evening is an opportunity to just really update our community, our families, and our students regarding what's happening in Brooklyn City Schools. Before we get going, I want a couple introductions. I want to introduce Mr. Schirhart, Robert Schirhart, our Treasurer CFO, and then we have two dignitaries in the room. Our Vice President of the Board of Education, Karam Hazrouni, and then Board Member Allison Rafter. So I want to thank both of them for being in attendance this evening. And again, today is really just about giving our community, families, and students an update of everything going on in the district and some of the great things we have going on, coming up, and also some of the things we're going to start considering over the course of a year. Vision 2030 is our strategic plan, in where we have 5 pillars in which we have focused our work in academics, social emotional wellness, community engagement, college and career planning, and then district operations, finances, and facilities. One of the things that we're very proud of and very thankful and fortunate to have is we're embarking on a renovation project in the district. The community passed a bond issue, $20 million bond issue this past spring, excuse me, and we are going to begin renovations at Brooklyn High School, at the stadium complex, and we're going to be looking at a lot of different areas within the district. One of the things that will be coming up for the 25-26 school year, Board of Education considered this last year, the Cuyahoga County Public Library will be moving with a new facility to Memphis Avenue across from the City Hall complex. That being said, the district will be taking ownership or taking back ownership of that property, in which we will be converting that library building into our early childhood and family resource center. We are very excited for that. It's going to be a helpful addition to the district. We're looking for some additional space at our pre-K through 7 campus, and this is a prime opportunity to, again, both add that childhood resource center and also looking at some of the family impact and resources we're gonna have moving forward. But this will begin for the 25-26 school year. I want to share with you very quickly some renditions of that space and what it's going to look like for our earliest and our youngest hurricanes that are entering the district. Again, here we have some pictures of some classrooms that will be renovated. One of the things we also need to do is part of the renovation here at Brooklyn High School. We're going to need to pick up some space because we're going to be redoing the auditorium and we're going to be redoing the music wing. The current boardroom is our community room, room 173 of the high school. Well, that's going to eventually become, during the construction transition, we're going to move this into some classroom space. Part of the early childhood and family resource center will be a new board meeting room and community room at this complex. So we're very excited that we'll be able to use this room for board meetings, community meetings, in which we hope to also share with the City of Brooklyn and other entities that are looking to have large meeting spaces. But this is one of the renditions of that room. New playground will be going up towards the front of the building. Current playground in the preschool will be staying, so we'll have some additional playground space for our K through 3rd graders. Very quickly, I want to go through the scope of work that we're going to be taking on with the renovation beginning next school year. Looking at completing the auditorium. Auditorium will be completely redone, and you can kind of see some of the items that are scheduled to be renovated. We'll be looking at new windows at Brooklyn High School, the board office, and the treasurer's office. These are much needed in terms of renovation and replacement, and we're hoping that we're going to eventually see some energy savings with the replacement of these windows. It's a picture of our the current status of some of our windows, and you can see it's going to be a much needed replacement. Going to be looking at the outside of the district in terms of like just some aesthetics, but also improving the security at all of our entrances. We'll be replacing or redoing the board office entrance, the high school entrance, and then also the back of the high school entrance that goes to our main gymnasium. One rendition, again, a rendition, we really haven't come to a final design on these canopies, but something that we really are hopeful will help with the aesthetics and really show the community in terms of what that bond issue is bringing to the new complex. We'll be looking at, this is our first classroom space that we're going to be renovating. We're going to be renovating 3 of our science labs. This includes top to bottom renovation. This right here is our chemistry room. We'll be redoing our biology lab and also our physics lab. All 3 of these classrooms, as part of the renovation, will have HVAC and air condition added to them, so that will help with moving towards a complete ventilating of the high school, which will come down the road, not necessarily fully with this renovation, but as we move towards phase 2 and possibly phase 3 of our renovations over the next 5 to 10 years, we're hoping to look to add complete air conditioning to our high school classrooms. The second academic space that we're looking at is a complete renovation of our band and choir areas, which are attached to the auditorium. Again, much needed. Our space is, our students are entering our band and choir more and more, so we're looking at renovating these academic and performance areas for our kids and staff. Another area, main area, competition gym at the high school. This will include new bleachers, new backboard systems, scoreboards. We're going to be keeping the floor. The floor's in really good shape. We'll be refinishing that, but also look at a sound system and the main gym. If anybody's been in the gym in August or late May or June, you will know how hot it can be in that gym, and so the main gym will have air condition after this renovation. Part of the restoration of the high school, we'll be looking at the flooring. This floor here is our high school cafeteria, last redone in probably early 2000s, 2004, 2005. So we'll be redoing our cafeteria floor along with restoring the terrazzo all throughout the high school. Part of this renovation will also include making sure that we're compliant with our railings system in the high school. Before I move on to the athletic complex, one of the things we're also adding, which is not on this slide, is we'll be adding an elevator to Brooklyn High School. We currently have a lift. It is of age. We're repairing it more often than we need to, and so part of the renovation will include the addition of an elevator at Brooklyn High School to make sure we are ADA compliant. Going to the stadium, stadium needs some foundational work on the home side bleachers. So you're looking at painting, sealant, waterproofing, things like that. We're also going to look at lighting system, renovation of the concession stand, home and visiting locker rooms at the stadium. We'll also be looking at an upgraded sound system and scoreboard at the stadium complex. One last piece over by the baseball field, we'll be looking at adding an asphalt path that connects to Memorial Park. So we will have a complete walking path around the athletic complex that also connects to the city paths in Memorial Park. So we're very excited to partner with the city for that. Very happy that we are looking at, we've received a grant from the NFL, $250,000, to replace our stadium field, and that will be happening within 1 calendar year. We're hoping that happens sometimes this late spring. You can see also there the stadium field to the left, and you can see the connected paths to the Memorial Park on the north side of the drawing there. But we're very happy to be replacing that athletic field. We were 2 years away from the replacement, but allowing us to get this $250,000 grant has accelerated and allowed us to replace that field a little bit earlier. Part of this restoration also includes redoing our shot put, disc, and long jump areas for our track teams. I really want to emphasize the partnership with the City of Brooklyn. We are very fortunate to have a city council and a mayor that values our partnership, that values the school district. I say this with utmost respect and really, truly recognizing the City of Brooklyn for what they did. The City of Brooklyn, through council action with the mayor, waived all the building permit fees regarding this renovation project. I will tell you, other school districts are not as fortunate as we are. This is an approximate cost savings of about $200,000 of the bond money that we're able to put back into the facilities. And so I am here thanking our council, our mayor for taking this step with us and supporting us in this project and waiving these fees. We're very lucky to have them as partners in education. I want to go over a little bit of the educational updates, academic programming updates of the district. Tradition, pride, excellence is our tagline, our mission, vision here in the district, and one of the things I'm very proud of is the academic progress that our school district has made over the past 5 years. For the second year in a row, we receive a 4-star out of 5 stars on the state report card, which exceeds state standards. You can see the other indicators underneath the overall rating and how we've rated out of the star system. I will say this is a snapshot of the things we do in the district, but it is always good to report that from the lens of the state of Ohio, our district, Brooklyn, continues to excel academically and really provide our kids in the community with preparation as they move from grade level to grade level, and also making sure that they're prepared when they leave our doors. So very excited to report that. Just some enrollment trends and some of the things I really want to talk about from the lens of kind of the status of the city, the district enrollment, but also kind of a larger picture from the state of Ohio. We currently have about 1,129 students in the district. Class average size from K to 12 is approximately 18 to 24 students, which is very good. We have fluctuated between 1,129 and 1,170 over the last 3 to 4 years. I would say our district enrollment trends continue to be steady. I would obviously like to see a little bit more enrollment in the district, but we are very comfortable where we're at in enrollment-wise with our student population. This number here is 228. So we have 228 students. Part of state of Ohio, obviously, even though you live in the city of Brooklyn, parents and families have options to send their students to other educational institutions other than Brooklyn City Schools. Of the 228 students that live in the city of Brooklyn, they have chosen to enroll outside of Brooklyn City Schools, some to Cleveland Metropolitan, some to St. Thomas More, some to digital academies, community or charter schools, and other private schools. So this is kind of a snapshot of our student population that doesn't attend Brooklyn for informational purposes. State of Ohio, our state legislature has not done public schools a big favor in Ohio. Part of the new state law with the biennium budget allows families to access vouchers to attend private institutions other than public schools. And so what the data we have here is pretty clear. From fiscal 21 to fiscal 24, we have seen a 56.8% increase in families, students that live in the city of Brooklyn that are accessing voucher money to attend private schools. And so what does that mean? What it means is the state of Ohio, public tax dollars are paying for students to attend private schools. Now, that's state law. Families have that option. But I really want to truly point out that the voucher impact on the Brooklyn City School District. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean, if we look at fiscal year 24, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have lost 149 students. Those 149 students are included in that 228. What that means is, of the 228, 149 students, families, have chosen to access the voucher funds or to apply for the voucher funds. This is a very telling slide that I think is very important, especially as we get into funding for schools, community tax evaluations. Brooklyn City School District receives from the state of Ohio approximately $2,000 per student, a little bit less, $1,990.28. That same student who lives in Brooklyn and chooses to go to a private school, depending on their family's income level, will receive from the state of Ohio, if we're in grades K through 8, anywhere between $650 to $6,100. If you're in grades 9 through 12, that same family living in Brooklyn that decides to send their student to a private school and apply for a voucher, depending on their income level, will receive from the state of Ohio between $950 and $8,400. Now, let's be clear. Most of the students attending private institutions and taking advantage of vouchers are on the higher end of that scale. So the state of Ohio has decided that tax dollars and funding is more important to go to voucher programs than our city school district. Another caveat that is starting to become more of a trend with our legislatures. There is actual legislation and actual funding this year that state public money went to private institutions for capital renovation projects, for new buildings, to maintain buildings. Brooklyn City Schools receives $0 from the state of Ohio to upgrade their facilities. Our Board of Education approved a resolution and recommended to the community to pass a $20 million bond issue to upgrade our facilities at the cost of the taxpayers of Brooklyn City. However, our lawmakers are starting to go down the path of taking public money for private schools without public vote. So let that be clear. We in Brooklyn had to come ask the taxpayers to help us with renovations. Well, that's not necessarily the path some of our private schools are going to. One of the things we're really looking at in the district is our current enrollment policy. Currently, our policy says that if you live in the city of Brooklyn, you obviously can attend the Brooklyn City School District. One of our other policies is if we have a full-time staff member that attends Brooklyn City, that works for Brooklyn City Schools, their children can attend Brooklyn City Schools without tuition. Right now, we have about eight of our staff members, total of about 8 to 10 students that attend Brooklyn because their parent or guardian work in the district full-time. One of the things that we need to consider in the district is, especially with the impact of the voucher program, that I will tell you, last year, our numbers were not 228. They were around 190 students that were living in Brooklyn but attending schools elsewhere. I will tell you from this graph, we have more people, more families living in Brooklyn that are accessing the voucher, and that's okay. That's allowed by law. And I'm always a firm believer of parent choice. I would love all of these students to come back to Brooklyn because I wholeheartedly believe our programming is top notch. But I think one of the considerations we need to think about is, as we look at our enrollment, is how are the student enrollment trends in Brooklyn and throughout the state of Ohio, and with voucher programs, how are they impacting our school district? How are they impacting the viability of the district? And how are they impacting the stability of the district? I will tell you right now, 1,129 students. We are fiscally stable. Our programs are good. We're being innovative. We're creating programmings. However, I would like more students to access the academic, extracurricular, social, and mental health programs that we have going on in the district. That being said, I want to read this as we get into the financial conversation, and I turn it over to Mr. Schirhart. This information in the next few slides being provided is merely factual. District personnel are not allowed to advocate for or against the passage of a levy or bond issue during times they're being compensated by the district. And so as we present this financial information, please know that this is just coming from a mere factual presentation of the current financial and future outlook status of Brooklyn City Schools. I want to thank you. I'll come back here at the end, but I want to turn it over to Mr. Schirhart.
Good evening. I wanted to start off with the 5-year forecast. And the important thing about this is line 6.01. Let me discuss what the 5-year forecast is. What this is a tool that we use to kind of shoot forward on what we think we will be receiving and spending over the next 5 years. It's based on past trends for each of the categories, which includes salaries, benefits, supplies, and equipment. And then you kind of forecast what you believe we'll be receiving and paying out in the future based on what you currently know to be the case. So the most important part in the 5-year forecast is to see how it's going to affect the district in the future, to make sure that there is funding available to continue operation, and you don't have to borrow, and we won't go into fiscal warning or fiscal emergency. So, and in this slide, the most important thing at this point is line 6.01, and what that shows is the current year balance going forward over fiscal year 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. And by looking at 6.01, you can see the district is healthy for the next 4 years. We start using deficit spending in fiscal year 27 and 28, which means that the expenditures are for that year are actually greater than the revenue that are coming in. So as you can see in the slide, for fiscal year 27, it's showing a negative $483,321. And what that is that means that the revenue that we will be receiving that year is less than the expenditures that are expected for that year. In the next column over, which is fiscal year 28, it's showing a negative $1,980,670. And what that does is that negative from the one year rolls over to the next year. It compounds every year after that point. So looking at the next line at 7.01, you can see where we have a cash reserve that is going forward. And what happens is in fiscal year 27 and 28, we start to eat that reserve away because of the the deficit spending in those 2 years. So if we go down to line 11.01, in 26, we will have in 25, we will have to put a renewal levy on the ballot to keep the same level of income coming in to offset that deficit spending in 27 and 28. And you can see in that line, we receive half in that first year, and then the full amount in the second year. And then there's another renewal levy that will be going on in 28 for 29. And that will offset that spending to keep us in a positive balance. So the important line really to look at is line 15.01. And that will show us with those if those levies are renewed, what our current balance would be going forward. So as you can see throughout those years, the cash balance is positive. So the district is and will be healthy. That's the most important thing with the 5-year forecast. I wanted to talk about the current funding sources. We have one current expense levy that will be up for renewal next year. Then we have 3 emergency levies that will be up over the next couple of years. Those will be going on as well. The important note for these is the emergency levies are based on a fixed dollar amount. So as values increase in property, that dollar amount is collected. It doesn't increase. So there's no like inflationary increase due to that. That's due to House Bill 920, which reduced or actually removed inflationary increases due to property value increases. So the emergency levies were passed to basically avoid deficit cash balances in the past. In this slide, this discusses the value, the real value increases from the county auditor for the reevaluation period for tax year 24 that will be effective in calendar year 25. So our current valuation is $389,036,380. The reappraisal is going up to $432,739,705. So that's a change in value of about $293,000. That's the amount that we will be receiving. When we look at the trends from the past, the collection amount is roughly 96.84%. So the district is estimating that our overall net revenue for next year will only increase by $283,000. So it's basically just the inside millage against what the property increase or the reappraisal increase is. So it's really just a small increase. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Caleris.
Thank you, Mr. Schirhart. Couple things. Just again, want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. A couple events that I want to highlight over the next 2-3 weeks. Our Board of Education will be considering the recommendation for our construction manager at risk partner that will be working through the construction process with us. So the board will be considering that at Tuesday's board meeting. We're very excited for the potential of working both with AVG, our architects, and our new construction partner. We will, once the board votes and approves, votes on that consideration, we'll be announcing that to our community and families next Wednesday. On November 6th, we will be having a short community meeting in the Brooklyn City Schools Auditorium, located at 9200 Bidoff Road, to welcome our community partners during the renovation process. We'll be talking about timelines for the construction process, and we'll give our community members, students, families an opportunity to ask myself, Mr. Schirhart, our administrative team, or our partners any questions about the upcoming renovation. That being said, I wanted to very quickly, if there are any questions in the audience that I could ask. There are no questions. That being said, I want to thank everybody. Have a great evening. Enjoy the weekend. And again, if there's any questions, feel free to please email me at the email address located on the screen. Thank you so much. Go Hurricanes.